Good morning, good morning. How about that? A little bit of branded roll titles. How about that? We got amongst it. Yeah, we got a new countdown this morning. I feel like it's a little bit funky. I don't know if I'm like 100% struck on the music, but Wallace, as ever, has done a cracking job of creating a little bit of a branded countdown for us this morning. So yeah, thank you to the King Bee, as ever, for doing your awesome design work. Hope you are all well. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Thursday. I've just been speaking to the incredible Katie Webster, our guest this morning backstage, and I was like, I'm going to carry on putting my makeup on whilst I speak this morning. And the reason I'm going to do that, see what's happened so far. I don't know if you guys have found right at the start of this foray into having my own fake telly show, right at the very beginning, I was going to be like putting my makeup on as we got ready for the day. And then the conversation started to get really like meaty, really. It always felt dead flippant for me to be putting my makeup on. But this morning, directly after the show, I've got some things to film. So I'm going to put my face on whilst we're talking. Emma, you need a Wallace. You've got a Piero, though. You have got somebody who's a dab hand with the cameras, which is very, very helpful. Good morning, Vicky. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, everybody. How are you feeling this Thursday before we sort of slide into Friday, before we're shaking our bums? How's your week serving you so far? How are you serving your week? Let me know in the comments. I had we got a hot and sassy hello to the hive this morning. Who's hot and sassy? I tell you what, Wallace was hot and sassy. He slept downstairs last night with the Beyonce fan. So we've got a couple of fans in the house. Like we've got a little fan, and we've got this massive, big sort of air blower, Beyonce type metal fan. This huge, big thing. He slept downstairs last night. I can't sleep with a lot of noise. As per my post yesterday, I'm quite auditory, so my brain is constantly picking up sounds and noises. I'm quite a light sleeper because of it, and to have noise on, even if it's white noise, keeps me awake. So yesterday, I had my noise cancelling headphones on, and it was glorious. So many of you were like, they're even branded, but they're proper builders ones. I got them from Amazon, like 20 quid. But these are noise cancelling headphones. And yesterday, that is what I needed when I'm writing. And as you know, we're now in the throes of writing the book, and I had lots of writing copy to do yesterday to get ready. I need to be able to focus. When I've got the noise cancelling headphones on, it's like a horse with blinkers. It's like I can't see anything else other than the page that I'm writing on, which is exactly what I need right now, especially considering the volume of what I've got to write in the next sort of 2 weeks. It's pretty crazy. So let's have a little look. What are we all saying? Can't believe it's already a week since now. What live? Where's that time gone? I know. And it was such an incredible day as well. It was so good to get back on the stage. It certainly is. It's handy to have a Piero hanging around. Good morning. It's Sarah. Everybody's feeling hot and say it this morning. Good morning. You're a beautiful lady. Chops Naomi Ella. Naomi Ella is joining us on the show next week. In fact, Naomi, remind me, I've got to drop you a little message about that directly after the show today. Visions of Wallace being Sasha Fierce. I think he would agree with me. He is feeling anything other than Sasha Fierce right now. He is not built for the heat. He is not like his thermostat is kind of set to hot anyway. He is not having a good time in this weather. He is not enjoying the weather. Yesterday, I smashed my master's degree interview. Yes, Amy Mantle, and offered a place. Oh my God, that's amazing. Digital marketing communication starting next month. You are smashing this week. Well done. Good morning. Come and say good morning to everyone, Wallace. Oh, he's not happy, bunny. Have you just come to say hiya? They've all got visions of you being like Beyonce with your big fan as you slept last night.
It was so cool.
It was so cool, but he definitely does not feel like Beyonce right now. He is not a happy flower. What's to do, bub-ups?
That couch is uncomfortable.
The couch is uncomfortable. Are you coming to get back into bed?
No.
Good, because I'm doing my show. Good morning, Deep. How are you? Joanne needs a sassy copywriter. All right, cool. So we've got loads of you, I know, who are copywriters out there. Make yourselves known to us. Our very own the incredible Joanne Smith from Creative Sass is on the hunt for a copywriter. So please make yourselves known, or give a shout out into the Hive, the IATQB Hive, which is my free community. If you are looking for anybody, we've got over 1,000 people in there in lots of different stages of their business, from just starting out all the way through to season seven figure earners in the Hive, and you can go and ask for some assistance and some help or recommendations. So if you do need somebody, please do come and join the IATQB Hive, which stands for I Am the Queen Bee, and you can put your shout outs in there for people that you need. There will be loads. I know I can think of at least 5, all of them incredible. And someone was asking in the Hive about copywriting yesterday. So copywriting, do you need a copywriter? So for me, I actually, once I get into it, it's like doing homework. I'm really good at writing copy for myself because there's nobody who knows my voice better than me. But it's like doing homework, and it gets put off and put off and put off and put off and put off. So sometimes I will need a copywriter, just because if I've got lots of other things on, I will need to sort of outsource it. But similarly, there ain't no one going to write like Dani Wallace than Dani Wallace. And if you are just starting out, it might not be an expense that you need to have. So what I would strongly suggest is go follow some copywriters. There's some incredible copywriters within our circle that have free groups that do training and free and give free value around sort of learning how to do copywriting. Now, by copywriting, I mean writing anything for your business. So writing website, the writing on your website. So for example, the IamTheQueenBee.co.uk website, we are currently in the middle of refreshing. So the About You page is new, the landing page is all new, all our offerings on there are all streamlined, and they've got all new, brand new copy on there that's relevant. Because when we first launched the website, we had speaking, we had singing, and we had coaching. Now, because things have really sort of niched and really streamlined since we started, we've taken the singing out. We have added more around the speaking and the speaking coaching. We've put the packages in there now that I sell. Instead of people saying, oh, you know, what is it that you do? Or how can I work with you? I can literally just put them straight to, now I know exactly all of the things that I'm selling. I'm able to say, oh, you can just go to the website and go and have a look, and it breaks it down, including price. So all of that is all copy. That's all writing work. So you can either go and learn from incredible copywriters, or you can have a little bash yourself. But yeah, if you need a copywriter, please do put a shout in the IATQB Hive. I'm making a conscious effort to plan in one family day. Yeah, one day of family time at the beach each week. It's really helping my mindset. Protecting those weekends has been one of the best things I have done so far. For my business, and even just giving myself the flexibility to sack it off if I need to, and just go, do you know what, we're going to go out to the park for an hour and I can come back to it. Good morning, Emma Roscoe. Good morning, Lisa Hart. What's the weather doing where you are? I'm going to assume it's Scorchio, because it is Scorchio pretty much everywhere. Who had thunderstorms last night? Who likes a thunderstorm? Who does not like a thunderstorm? We are absolutely Scorchio here in Preston. It is glorious and beautiful. I'm not whinging. We're not getting on a summer holiday this year. Totally with you on this. When I'm writing coaching reports, I can't play music. I need silence to really get into it. Everyone's congratulating Amy. Yes. There was no fucking rain here, so I slept shit. Oh, was it really close? Really heavy. We didn't get rain till like 11 o'clock last night. So, Joanne, that's how I feel my homework needs doing. I'm worried it won't be Sassy and me, but the deadline is looming. I need that other sassy person pushing me. This is exactly what I'm doing, up-leveling my website. A really good thing to do, and I do this with my ops manager, I do this sometimes with Wallace, is to have a co-working day. So to put a shout out in the Hive or here in the morning and saying, I'm working on my business today. Is anybody else? Get on a Zoom or get on a video call and block some time in where it's like you're in an office. So me and Danielle will do this all the time. We will both be on a Zoom, not necessarily talking to each other, but pretending that we're in the same office together. And so I'll say to her, right, well, I've got to write this bit of copy. She's like, right, you go do that. I've got to do this bit on her business. And then she will be typing away. And then we'll check in when it's done. We'll celebrate when it's done. So co-working days are really, 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 really cool. So put a shout again, use the hive, you guys, use the community to create these. Because co-working days rock. They really help you get things done. You don't need me to do that either. You guys can arrange that between yourselves. So co-working days for the win. Slept with the French doors open, listened to the rain and thunder, loved it. Yeah, it does feel cleansing when you do that. 2 second night of thunderstorms last night. I want to sleep. It's got chill already. Right, you lot, tell me where you are in the world. I'm going to be bringing our incredible guest on this morning. I'm super excited to have Katie Webster with us. Quickly before we do, Dani would love to know your opinion on sharing your prices on website. It seems to be a real no-no in the photography field, but we're really proud of our work and prices that we charge. Yes. So for me, I don't hide from my prices. And the reason I don't hide from my prices is because lots of people will say, can I come and work with you? And I'll be like, yes, of course you can. Then I'll tell them the price. And then they'll either go, yep, that's no problem. Or they'll go, oh, that I'm not quite ready for that just yet. And I could spend a lot of time on lots of phone calls with people just testing the water. So actually what I'm doing is by sharing my prices, because I'm not into like icky sales. Hang on a minute, wait. I'm not into like icky sales. Now, some of you may have different opinions on this. I don't need to hide my prices to engage a conversation. I'm here enough. So if any of you out there want to work with me, I know I can say, just go onto my site, have a look, see what's right for you, then come back to me and tell me which one is right for you. And they'll already pre-qualify themselves. So that's, I don't see the point in hiding from anything. It's going to save you time. It's going to save the client time. And also, it's going to allow them to save up for something if they can't quite afford you yet. Stand within your value. Stand within your prices. You have got absolutely nothing to hide. And also, like, seeing as though we're throwing out the bit. In fact, I want to bring Katie in. Wait there, because we're going to talk about all this stuff. Do you know what? Let's get our business heads on this morning, because I tell you what, Katie Webster is an incredible person to have on whilst we're talking about all these things this morning. So let's get our business heads on this morning. I want you to think about all the questions that you want to ask about your business as you're growing it now, as we're looking at different things. I'm going to bring the incredible, the supremely talented in the area of business, Katie Webster, onto the show. Good morning.
Oh my God, who is this woman?
We was like talking all about business. I'm thinking, Katie, you need to get amongst
it. Could you see me? I was nodding and I'm going, yes.
And she's like, yes. So let's get our expert in. I mean, we're both experts in this field, which is why we're friends, because we have very similar morals about how business should be done, and how networking should be done, and how relationship building should be done, and all of this sort of stuff. So what I want you guys to do watching today is I want you to think about where you're at with your business, where you would like to be, all those burning questions that you would like to ask a business expert or 2 business experts, and let's throw it to the table this morning.
Bring it on. Love it.
Are you up for that, Katie?
Oh my God, yeah.
Yes. Let's do it. So Katie, whilst we're getting some questions in and some comments in, tell us about what it is that you do.
So me, I'm a business coach, but a bit like yourself, say it how it is.
Yeah.
In the past, I did run my own business for 16 years, straight out of a business degree. Yeah. And there isn't a mistake or a costly or emotional or anything I haven't made. Right. I've always been upfront, always been honest. So and a lot of the people I work with, I always say to them, if you ask me the question, be prepared for the answer.
Yeah, you've got to ask, haven't you?
It's that. It's not. There's no waffle.
Do you want me to listen, or do you want some advice? You've got to be very clear when you ask people like Katie, what is it should I do? Or I'm in this situation, I don't know what to do. Do you want advice, or do you want me to listen? Because you're going to have to be able to do both if you are not ready to hear the answer.
And it's also, do you want results? Do you want, lots of people do lots of courses, do lots of things that are in the business or in, personal development, everything else, but actually get to the point that they don't put it into action or they don't know quite how to put it into action. So I tend to get rid of the shit. Excuse me, let's just get rid of that.
I'm not excusing your language at all. You're on my show.
But I can see from A to B, and I know that sounds really silly, but if you came on and you said, and what was brilliant that Emma saying about the pricing, that tends to be the first question I ask most people when they want to work with me. Okay, that's fine. I'm a retailer through and through. I can sell ice to Eskimos. It is easier than breathing to me. So I would say to them, right, okay, how much do you want to make? Where do you want to go? What's your profit margin? All of these things. And the majority of the people go, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, no, but you need, how much would you like to make? So then,
open yourself up to the conversation.
Absolutely. So I always go, let's start at where you want to be and then work back from that. So if you want to make £1,000, £2,000, whatever that might be. But to answer Emma's question, oh my God, absolutely put it on your website. It filters out those that don't want to work with you or can't work with you. I love the fact that you said about the aspiration. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm a shoeaholic, so I'm constantly on Christian Louboutin's website.
Right, and they don't hide.
They don't hide the prices.
You know how much they are.
But I tend to buy like an office copy of them. But I know that aspirationally, when I get to the reward point, I am going to have the Christian Louboutin at some point. So for Emma, if Emma feels that her prices are slightly more expensive because of the quality that she delivers, the package that she delivers.
And they are amazing, by the way. So I highly recommend.
But you need to be steadfast. Like you said again, it's filtering out the inquiries. Everybody would love that finished product. But at the time, they just might not be ready to stretch to that or to pay for that at the time. If they're a startup or, those kinds of things, don't be embarrassed by it. They're just not ready for you or they're not your ideal client. It's that simple.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting as well. Over the past 18 months, I managed to grow a 6-figure business. But it's been because I have seen the people who I want to work with and made it my business to invest when I'm able. And Abigail Horn from Authors & Co is a perfect example of this. I know she won't mind me telling it this, that Abigail Horn and I are friends. We're practically family. Her and my cousin have been best friends for a long time. They were business partners for a long time. I came into Abby's world in service. I came into Abby's world to help and how can I be friends? As I do with lots of people that are in my circle. And I desperately wanted a book. It's been on my vision board for the longest time. I desperately wanted a book. And she told me how much it was to work with her. And at that time, that amount of money was outside of my plane of thinking. I couldn't even think about earning that amount of money for myself in that moment. But I saw that was the thing that I definitely needed in order to elevate my status. There's no authority without author, as far as I'm concerned, especially in the speaking world. And that's where I reside. So I definitely needed a book. I definitely wanted to work with Abby, and I knew how much she cost. Now, I wasn't on the end of that call able to invest, but I made it my business to save and work so that as soon as I had that amount of money, I didn't even pay on payment plan. It felt so we both had a bit of a cry because she knew how hard I'd worked for it, that I paid her in full. That I knew how much it was. I knew how much I needed to earn. I knew what I needed to invest along the way because there were other things that I needed to do before that. So, for example, I needed to, get some business coaching, really understand what my model looked like. It's pointless having a book if I don't know how to sell everything that I'm selling. So, first of all, I invested in business coaching. That business coaching paid off in dividends, absolute dividends. And then I was in a position to say, Abby, I'm ready for you now. Here you go.
Do it.
We both cried. It was emotional. And do you know what? She probably could have done me a little bit of a favor, but she's an incredible business mentor on the quiet is Abs. And she turned around and went, I wouldn't have done you a favor.
No.
By doing you cheap.
But where did that wouldn't have got you to that elation that you had when you paid it in the lump sum? And it's that thing with price is if you don't know the cost of anything, I follow you and I've got my eye on you for months and months and months, and you talk about this house thing. If you don't know the price of something, how can you save for it? How can you say, right, okay, for me to get that house, I'm going to say, I need 10 clients. So if you don't know what one cost of a client is to get you to that house, you can't, the journey's not, you can't go from A to B. It's physically impossible. You know, price is key to everything, whether you're selling something or you're buying something, you know. And I did a post on this the other day, because I've started to see a lot of this, what Emma was saying, is that, and the clients that I work with, you know, they're so wishy-washy around cost of things and price of things. I'm thinking, it's basic economics. It's you know, back to like caveman times. I've got a banana, you want an apple, let's swap it. It's the offer and acceptance. And one of the things I think that a lot of people struggle with, and I think Emma might sort of be on this thought process, is that people judge you on price or you know, and it's usually within your own industry that do that, you know. So I'm like that. I never watch, and I've never watched what anyone else is doing. I like you with the horse blinkers, and I say this to all my clients: stay in your lane, stop following the shiny. It's like, and I can, if I see them on social media, sometimes they'll get a message from me and I'm saying, what are you doing? And it basically means get back in. You don't need to be distracted by somebody else who's doing something really good, or again, it's like that machine gun, bullets everywhere, and I'm like,
spraying
no,
and praying.
It's like, and I'm like, what the hell? No. And they will get, and sometimes in WhatsApp they'll just get question marks in a long line, and they know why I'm doing it. But this thing about packages and pricing, people cannot buy off you. And the thing, we are very British as well. And if you know, you go into a restaurant and there's no prices on the menu, do you start sweating because you think it's going to be too expensive? Because you're not aware of what, you know, of how much it is. Whereas, you know, if it was an expensive restaurant and you could see the prices, you're going to pick the cheapest because it makes you feel comfortable, or the one, not necessarily the cheapest, but the one that you're comfortable with. Yeah. Whereas if it's hidden,
instead of the £40 steak, you might get the $10.99 chili con carne.
Exactly. But if they're not there and you can't see it and you don't give your clients choice, they disappear. Right. You know, and some of them aren't savvy enough to think of you as an aspirational thing. You know, it's not necessarily a commodity like shoes or houses or cars and stuff like that. But certainly, you know, if you're working on your business and you've been working on it for 12 months to 2 years and you're not seeing the return on it as much as you would want, then I know that there's a roadblock in there.
There's some gap, isn't there?
Absolutely, yeah. And you've either got to build a bridge or you've got to go around it and sort it out.
Right. Absolutely. So we've got let's have a little look. Here. So Heather Long, I'm the same. Prices up front, and then I can focus on the client and the treatment. First year, I learned that selling myself short and going cheap doesn't work. It doesn't work, because when you go cheap, and I don't mean like just overprice yourself and just bang all your prices up.
Value.
But yeah, absolutely. Own your value. Own the amount of work that you know that you do. Like, they're not paying you for an hour of your time. They're paying you for 20 years of experience. Like in my case, you know, knowing the worth and skills being offered is big key. You ladies are full of positive energy. Yes, we are. I'm in my second year and do for George Group. Have a great day. Thank you, Heather.
Oh, that's
nice. I think we might have a question in here. Oh, there's a lot. Hang on. That's a lot. Amy, we can't see everything in that comment because StreamYard isn't letting us. Break it down. If you've got a question, I'll try and get as far as I can. We'll try and work it out. We can't see it. We have to people.
I feel there's a new thing coming on here.
I know, like, we've got something to do. Hang on a minute. I started a baby children's clothing boutique 4 months ago. I spent a few grand buying stock, marketing materials, etc. My sales have slowed down, so I'm struggling with sales at the moment. My sales obviously bring in the cash flow for new updated stock every fortnight, and right now I'm struggling. Most of my customers are my brand reps who get a 20% discount, but I'm struggling to engage anyone that's not a brand rep unless it's on Instagram doing a tenner Tuesday where her items are discounted. I can kind of get the gist. Katie, what are your thoughts on this?
Funny enough, I actually work with she's a friend, but she has her own fashion boutique. The brand reps, they're okay, but there's 20% in it for them. It's not enough for them. So yes, do that, and that's absolutely fine, and that's one revenue of it. But but my friend who does it, and if she was on here, she'd be screaming like, they need to see you. They have to see you every single day. You have to be talking about your product. She wears it. She walks towards the mirror and back. You know, all of that stuff. People buy from people. Yes, you're selling clothes. That's absolutely fine. But they want to see your passion. They want to see that you love what you're doing. They want to see that you get them, you understand them. You are, and with my client, I say to her, explain to people that you're a size 12. So you're in a 12. It fits like this. It's lovely. She does all of that. She does her own promotions where she does, I think it's once a month, she does 20 pound bag day or something, and what she does, she picks 3 items, puts it in a bag. It's 20 pounds. She asks you for your dress size, you know, things that you like, and so when you get it in the post, it's a surprise. But everything fits you, and the value of that bag is usually £60, and I swear to God, she sells out within 30 minutes.
Right,
it's incredible. Once a month, and they wait for it, and then they buy other things. Because
it's like it's almost like a lost leader in
terminology, quite so much, but it's definitely a lost leader. Yeah. They get to feel the quality of her goods. They're invested in her. So when she starts bringing the new stuff, and she sounds like she's very similar to I forgot the lady that we were talking to.
Amy Mantle.
She sounds very similar to you, Amy, in that she buys weekly. So she sells the stuff out each week. And to be honest, now she's got so much to the point that she does so much online that she is a bricks and mortar store, but she only does it Wednesday to Saturday in the store, which is phenomenal because online has worked better for her. Yeah, we talk about this all the time, Dani, when we're around. It's visibility. They need to see you, whether you're on Facebook. You know, I know, and I say it very easy because I find it easy being live on stuff, but you've done
the work first, haven't you? They're like, think about it. Like you and I have been going live and been doing video type trainings and lives and stuff for quite some time, or even in real life. For people that are new to it, pressing that go live button is sometimes really daunting because I've done a little bit of work with Amy before, so I know that there is some visibility fears around there. So actually, that's what you're saying is perfect for Amy because that's probably the blocker is that there needs to be more when you're just scrolling. Think about how you engage, isn't it? It's how do you guys engage with people who you buy from? You buy from the people you want to support their business, or that you dig on it. Who's that girl? And she's honestly, I don't know what her name is. She's got like, it's a boutique style, but she's everywhere. She's always in the same pose, on the same rug, in the same mirror. With the outfit,
yes.
You know who I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's always the same. It's exactly the same every single time, but she's that consistent.
Yeah.
That you expect it, and you're like, you can't wait to see what she's going to be wearing next. But being that visible and that consistent is what will change up the need. Just because you start to post about something doesn't make it important to everybody else.
But they get to hear your voice, as you were saying about the copywriting. It's still your voice. It's how you speak. It's your thought process. You know, my friend, she's as mad as a box of frogs. She's absolutely hilarious. So I know people watch her for the entertainment value as well as the clothing. But each week she has a new drop in on a Wednesday, and by Saturday it's gone. And don't get me wrong, she put the work in the beginning. She turned up every day, whether nobody was there. And if you're a bit scared, which she was in the beginning, of physically being visible, then you could put a rail of clothing out, not necessarily on yourself, but you're talking through your new buys. You know, the reason, because it's, autumn season now, you know, talking through what you've bought, why you put, you know, the fit, the feel, all of those. And you'll get used to hearing your own voice online, but they do need to see you. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry, because I know that is definitely something a lot of you need to hear, that have got your own businesses now more than ever. And we've been banging the online drum now, of course. It's just before the start of the COVID lockdown, but by moving your business online, by getting visible online, by owning, like, think about it. You've got Richard Branson. And he's the owner of Virgin Media. He's got Virgin Records. He's got Virgin Atlantic. He's got all of these things. But you see him, and when he first started, and he would be everywhere on the telly, in the news, and not being scared of actually being the face of his brand. When you think of Virgin, you think of Richard Branson. The two are mutually exclusive. Like the two are bound together. Same with Bill Gates and Microsoft. Same with, God rest his soul, Anita Roddick and Body Shop. Same with Jacqueline Gold and Ann Summers. Like all of these brands. Well,
Michelle Mone. I follow Michelle Mone. Love her. She's everywhere.
Exactly. So being the face of your brand and allowing yourself to be the face of your brand brings you close to your customer. And in being consistent, you will remain at the forefront of people's minds. Amazing advice. Thank you, Katie. Joanne, love this today. So relevant for me at the moment. The whole price thing has been a huge mountain, but I'm getting over that money block now. I'm almost excited to put my price on the website. So you should be. Working to being on that speaking bus with Dani, aspirations all the way. It's your destination in sight. Absolutely.
Yep.
What would be, Katie, your top tips for people in business right now, if they are either a product-based business or in the service industry? What do they need to be doing right now? Because yesterday it was announced that we are moving into a recession, which is no different than the day before when we woke up. No. The media just said it.
That's how I think. But you see, the thing is, and it's whether you're product or service, if you're selling something, it's the same. It really doesn't matter. It's consistency. You know, Coca-Cola, Virgin, they're all not going to go, oh shit, it's a recession.
Oh, it's a recession, everybody.
Let's hide under the duvet.
Everyone in it spitting.
That's exactly it. It's this fear factor. I don't listen to the news. I never watched the Boris announcements. I'm not interested. It does. I don't want it to infiltrate into my thoughts or my brains, because I'm on a track and I'm going that way. And I would say that lots of people who have been consistent throughout lockdown, particularly, have their brand has catapulted because they've been consistent. You know, one client I started to work with at the very beginning of lockdown nearly stayed under the duvet cover, until I said, "Oi, pull your big girl pants on and get up." And her growth and for the first 10 weeks was phenomenal. But, you know, she cried the first time we spoke, and I just said, I'm not very fluffy, so tears don't work. I'm sorry. I'm just like, you just got to get on with it, I'm afraid. But it is consistent, whatever you're doing. The thing, and again, it's relevant because it's pricing. If people are very price conscious at the minute, because obviously the uncertainty, you know, if they've been made furloughed or they've been made redundant, the fact of the matter is they still need to buy things, and they will still buy, and they're buying more and more online. The retail world has always been changing, You know, people are blaming COVID and everything else on shops closing. They were closing anyway.
Already on the decline.
They're using it. They're absolutely using that. It's a, you know, these are all big landlords that have had rent and rates on bricks and mortar everywhere. They were folding anyway. These brands are working 5-10 years in advance. 5 years ago, for instance, WH Smith's, I know they announced last week, they were downsizing 5 years ago. The fact that COVID, they didn't know COVID was coming, but it's a great thing to attribute it to. Yeah. So consistency, you know, think like the big boys. They might slightly pivot, they might do something different, but they're still consistent. They show up. They don't go under the duvet cover. They might streamline. They might, you know, get rid of some of the big execs and their wage packets, but the brand
might not be
itself,
a bad thing because you've got too many cooks up at the
Exactly. You know, some people have streamlined that they don't need office space. They've now embraced the remote working element of things.
They're converting the garages. They're getting summer houses. That's what we're doing when we move.
Exactly. The biggest growth area, and I know this because my dad has units, is the self storage units, because people are doing a business from home filling the house with crap, thinking, right, okay, I need to buy a unit, putting the stuff in the unit, but still selling online. You know, another lady I work with, she buys the pot. She gets given prams, you know, really nice prams that people don't use, but she breaks them down and she sells the parts.
Right.
Oh my God, the woman is. I've never known anyone so busy. Oh my God. Because, you know, if you don't want to buy an expensive bugaboo, or they're like £1,200 or something.
They are, dear.
So she sells like the wheels or the handlebars. So she basically breaks them down. It's phenomenal, but she's consistent. Right. Every day. She knows what day she's buying, so she goes buying on a Monday. She advertises it all on a Tuesday. She bundles it all on a Tuesday, and then Wednesday she does a live thing about what she's got. And you know, because she's doing these. You have to excuse me. My boys are really old now, so I don't know what a jamboree thing is. She's just gone into the jamboree.
All right. I lived in a jumperoo for the first 12 months of her life. She just wanted to bounce.
Yeah. Well, she's just into that now, because I think they grow out so quick that they're still immaculate. So she's gone into that. So she's had that idea, but it's the consistency. People know her prices. They know where she is. They know how to find it. She's now the pram woman.
I love it.
But and this is what I say all the time. There is no secret. There is no secret formula. There is a formula for you. There is your formula, and that's how, you know, and it's price, and it's consistency, and it's showing up, and how you word that. And you talked about the, you know, your language and your voice, but the rest of it's the same. No one is doing anything different.
And it's the ones that right now, and I'm so glad we're talking about this morning, Katie, because yesterday I saw it. My newsfeed changed yesterday. I saw people that were scared. I saw people that were trying to capitalize straight away. Oh, it's a recession. Everybody come and buy my shit. I saw people who were just starting out in business were like, oh, what do I do now? I saw people thinking, right, I've got to do something, but what? And I think that this conversation right now is important. It's just like when lockdown was announced. Now isn't the time to be sitting on your arse and being scared.
Get out of bed.
Now is the time to be thinking. The volume goes up when the economy goes down. That's what needs to happen. For you guys listening out there, for me, for you, Katie, it's about keeping your head above the parapet, watch what's going on, because the media will have you think one thing, because it's salacious. It's salacious. It sells newspapers. It has people clicking. It has people scared. What do scared people do? Buy more newspapers, because it's the beast that feeds itself. So for everybody listening out there who might have felt a little bit wobbly after yesterday's announcement, you don't have to be scared. You just have to turn the fuck up. People are still buying. People still buy within a recession. It's very easy. It might seem like an ivory tower that me and Katie are sitting in, and it isn't. It's for me personally, saw this happen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and because again, it's different. I am a retailer, so I understand, and it goes up and down. There's nothing new in that in years gone by, and you know, you could almost do a crystal ball thing and say in another 10 years it'll be exactly
10 years.
the same.
It's cyclical.
It's that you know, there's cycles to things, with the exception of the pandemic. But those who are that's
100-year cycle,
and that's a whole different ball game. However, you know, those at the beginning of the pandemic, if that, you know, that suddenly thought, actually no, I'm going to steadfast and I'm going to continue, they are such on a different path now. In a positive way, because they, you know, they were probably scared, and they probably thought, oh my God, you know, palpitations, and what am I going to do? But they just thought, you know what, I have to stick to what I know. And people will always buy from people. It's that simple.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are you guys saying this morning? Media negative energy. My brand is growing daily. No recession in Sassville. Mindset, push through. Yes, give value, but be compassionate. Always the big boys are using it as an excuse to drop dead wood. They've been waiting for ages. Can got a whole raft of people in junior and middle management that are dead wood, and that's just because that's what they do. The ethic is to grow people, but you can only grow so far to retain people. So it's almost like growth as a means to retain, but you grow so many people, you are going to have to chop the dead wood, which is why they've got change managers within HR.
When you chop the dead wood, the new stuff comes through, the fresh stuff. So all that new greenery comes through, because you can see the garden behind. My husband's mad into gardening. If you don't deadhead, then the fresh flowers don't come through. It's that simple, know. So that's what you have to do. If the stuff and this is in your own business, if the stuff that isn't working with, if you work with me and I see stuff and it's I would just say get rid. You don't need it. If you've got 20 packages, I heard you say you'd streamlined your prices. That's the point. Don't be afraid to streamline. Make something slightly dearer, but add some more into it if you needed to. Absolutely. But it's get rid of the dead wood. It kills everything, to be honest. But a lot they're using the big boys are using it as an excuse. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Lisa, Dennis is just asking what's Katie's business link, please. So Katie is going to pop the links in the comments on this. So whenever we have a guest on, all of the links, so you can hang out with Katie, find out more of what she does, and consider working with her, especially now if you're scared or you need somebody to have eyes on your business. Katie's an incredible person to have in your pocket. There are so many incredible businesses that have really thrived during lockdown. We're doing really well and are ready to invest to up-level our message. People really are still buying. They are. They've
been re-educated as well into buy online. When I say that, I'm talking the 40 plus age bracket, because some of them wouldn't even still, believe it or not, put their details in to buy stuff online. They're below 40, I would say 45 plus, but they're still, whereas now they've got no choice. And that was largely due to the pandemic, that people, yes, you could, people had to order from Sainsbury's online shopping. They would never have done it before. So they've got used to it. So in a very, very short space of time, the pandemic, in one positive, has made everybody use online, the online space to buy. It's become more and more safe as to, obviously do your due diligence if you're going to buy, a sweatshirt or something, that whatever, a copy of something. However, it has pushed more consumers online. They are there, they're ready.
Absolutely. People were still buying when we went into lockdown, even more than ever in certain cases. Yet we were just saying that very thing. The recession rebels. That has got legs.
I'm telling you. Well, the write-up for us was the Mavericks. I mean, oh my God. Yeah, I don't listen to any of that noise. I just don't do noise.
Yeah, absolutely. Get those blinkers on. Look at, because your sat nav doesn't change. You still want to get the things that you want to get.
You're going to your destination. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Absolutely. There are people out, just because the media will have you think about, and don't get me wrong, all right? So I was one of those people in the last recession because I weren't thinking in the same way.
Yeah.
So I lost my house. I was in a bad way. It wasn't great. The last recession for me was a big learn in that I hadn't done, but a lot of it was my own fault. I'd not done any saving. I'd not looked after my security. I'd made poor decisions around money. Whereas this time that I learned the hard way. I lost my house and became homeless. But now it enabled me that when I look at this recession now, I just think, how am I making the right choices around money right now? And if the answer is then we'll be all right, So Lisa Jane, I got furloughed, so took Lisa Johnson's advice, did a whole 360. I studied and started a brand new business. So many people are doing it now. I think that entrepreneurs are going to be the savior of the British economy, the world economy even. I really do. I now need to work out what packages I can provide and price.
So important.
I'm getting out there and loving it. Yes, amazing.
Because they're going to love you, but they need, and they're going to ask you how much. How much can I buy it from you? How much is it to work with you? So the consistency is key, but if they like you, they're going to ask you how much.
Yeah, absolutely. So getting those systems in place, those packages, those systems, your key things that you offer in place is really important. Yeah, really good point. The pandemic has made the demographic of online shoppers go wider and wider. That's gold. It is. It is. I'm going to do a T-shirt for this, Dani. I'm going to send you one. Yes! Recession Rebels.
Can I have one?
Oh, babes. That's going to be me and Katie collaborating on something now because we're excited.
Oh, God. Can you imagine it?
We've just moved into a new studio space due to growth after yesterday's news. Head down, another push. Things will be just fine.
And the thing, if you start talking about that you have moved into those new premises, people want positivity. So if you talk about that you're moving and you're expanding and it's getting busy, then they're going to want you. And this is where I go back to you, Dani, at the very, very beginning of lockdown. And you timed it, and I don't think you did it on purpose. Correct me if I'm wrong. You did the 5-day challenge, which I did, and we all woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning like that, and you're putting your makeup on. But you were consistent at that first 5 days, and then that weekend we went into the lockdown. But then you stayed at 8 o'clock, and those that had that wobble, cried, whatever it was, they knew you were going to be consistent, and you stayed there, and you talked about the shit that was going on, but you stayed positive. And those then, that's what that, you know, to use the phrase the honey, that's what attracted everybody to it. You were consistent. So you, the lady with that it was just getting the bigger, sorry, I forgot her name. Is it
the big studio? Kirsty.
The big Kirsty. My words, sing about it, shout about it. Make sure your audience is aware of your growth, and you're saying that to Boris and the rest of them. You are consistently there, and I promise you, your audience will love it.
Everything that you guys do now will secure what's going to go on. It's like when you go to the supermarket, right? What you put in the trolley will dictate what your body feels like in the coming few weeks.
Totally.
What you do now will dictate what your business is doing in the coming few weeks and months.
A funny story, at the beginning of lockdown, my husband said to me, and he's very much, he's a teacher. So he's very like, keeps everything like, and he's like, oh, we need to be careful with money. I suggest you start going, this is no disrespect to where anyone shops for food. I suggest you start going to Aldi, because, you know, you need to really, you know, half the bill. And I'm like, fuck that, I'm going to Sainsbury's. I've always gone to Sainsbury's, and in fact my food bill has doubled. I you know, it's that that's how I think. So I would, you know, yes, I don't get me wrong, I buy all my cleaning products and stuff from B&M's and stuff like that, but if somebody says to me close in, I'm like, hell no, not on my watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's not being frivolous, by the way,
not at
guys.
all. No,
it's just about remembering that, again, there is nothing that has changed in the last 48 hours other than the newspapers have said we're in recession. Nothing has changed.
And if you believe that and you close down, then obviously that's where, you know, the things that can happen if you're not planning. Like, I'm working with people now to December to get them to December. Right. I want them to feel that at some point 2020 had a, you know,
it's got a strong finish for them.
Yeah, strong finish. So that for me, that's the most important bit. And I've got 3 calls with the girls today, and if they're influenced, one of them will be. She'll be influenced by the news because she absorbs it all. No matter how much I tell her not to, she absorbs it all. Yeah. So I'm going to have to unpick that for the first 10-15 minutes of our call. Mm-hmm. She'll be under the duvet cover again. So I'm going to have to, you know, steady her up and then say, right, no, we've already got these plans in. Whatever Boris has said, whoever some Etonian has said, this is where you are. Your path has not changed. Keep going, and that's what you can't do anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. Claire Clark says, so much love for Katie. Why have I never seen you before? You're going to be seeing more of her. She's been a best kept secret for so long in lots of people's businesses, and like even now, like your visibility is turning up. You're looking at all the things that you're going to be doing and providing. I'm so excited for you and your journey. In fact, tell us a little bit about what's coming up next for you. We've not really followed the normal like format for the show. I've hijacked you this morning.
I think as well is that I'm everything I've done, and it's not a secret, I've got lots of clients, but I tend to get referrals. That's, you know, and like now people seem, but before lockdown, I was an avid networker. I hosted events. That's where we
lots
first
of
met.
in real life events. You know, fabulous events as well.
And my events are return on investment events. You know, I always make sure that there's value in there of people who meet people, you know, and that kind. So that's when people tend to meet me, and then I tend to work with somebody, and then they refer me because, you know, with me, you get shit done. There's no in between. And it's not that I'm secret. I don't even have a website. I've never wanted one. I kind of think I'm going to have to sort of go down that route.
Yeah, it's assets that are handy, but it's just a case of like you work with more people and you become more successful, and then there comes a point where you're like, people are trying to Google you and they think, is this woman for real? And you're like, she's properly legitimate, she's amazing.
I know, but I kind of think if I'm the sort of the hidden weapon in your toolbox, it's, you know, it's one of those. But
people absolutely need you now more than ever. And I think kind of straight talking.
I've always been, you know, and I mean, I worked for Molton Brown for a couple of years. They headhunted me after I closed my business because I've done it for 16 years and that was it. And I'm very much, that's it, I finish and move on.
Yeah.
And I can honestly tell you, when I first went into the meetings, they looked at me like I'd got 4 heads because it was just like, because I was very much in the bridal industry. That was my basis. And they wanted to launch a fragrance, a hand and body stuff for brides. And they were all very excited with themselves, all these marketing people going, oh, yeah, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do it. And I'm just like, if you get it wrong, they will crucify you.
Yeah.
The whole room went dead. And they were like, what do you mean? I went, if you promise a bride and you don't deliver, you're dead to them. And then they're going to badmouth you. And they just looked at me. It's like, and so a lot of times I had to sit on my hands. But now I'm, if people want to work with me and want to make money, and there's no bones about it, when I go into any interview that I've ever been into, I say to them, I love money. I win everything around money, KPIs, you name it, I win it because competitive, and we're doing the same thing at the minute. So we're competitive together on the affiliate store. So, but
I'm just doing it because my audience is down for it. Like, I have something else to do. I'm not being
right, you've got something else to do. So what do they say? If you want something doing, give it to a busy person.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's what they do. But yeah, so it's just I don't know. The clarity that I've always had is I can see your journey. That's, you know, and as I say, just to keep it dead simple, it's if you've got something to sell, somebody wants to buy it, that's the end of it. And there's the rest of the what I call the shiny stuff. It's nice, but it's not. It doesn't have to be all consuming, and you get caught up in other people's shit and other people, you know, like you being successful and doing it. Oh, Dani's, it's easy for her, and that was and that was the point. Do you remember the event you came to when we had Natasha Hamilton in? And the reason I asked her was because she had that time. She had tens and tens of thousands of followers, and the reason, and we were talking about Instagram, weren't we, and the value of selling through Instagram. And the reason I brought Tash in was because the perception in the room was that if you had a large audience, it was easy to sell. Right. But it was the complete opposite, because they were just interested in her lifestyle. The minute she started talking about selling, the pickup wasn't there. And she was honest with us, wasn't she, in that room, how she was like, hell no, you know. So, and she's done other things to create an audience that want those packages from her in that, not her lifestyle stuff. So it's very important that you don't get caught up with the size of people's audiences, you know, all that you know. We've talked about this, and we see it in lots of coaching groups that we do. Numbers aren't necessarily what sell. It's I keep saying it, and I'm like a broken record. It's people sell to people.
You could have 10,000 followers on Facebook, or 200 followers on Facebook, or whatever, Facebook, Instagram, whatever.
Yeah.
And those 10,000 may not be engaged. They might just be a vanity metric. If you're better having 200 raving fans, people who love you. Like people think, someone said to me the other week, like, oh, you're really big now. And I'm like, I'm not. Go and have a look at how many followers that I've got. Go and have a look at how many people engage with my stuff. We're probably looking like a few thousand at best. Mm-hmm. And for someone that's been in business for 7 years, that's still very small. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that I'm not successful. It means that those people I love hard on and they love me back. Yeah. And it's I've got those raving fans. Not that you guys are raving, by the way. Like you, well, yeah, we are. We're raving.
We are. We definitely are.
It is definitely, yes, Joanne, quality over quantity. And when you grow in audiences organically, you get great responses because they're buying from you, they're rooting for you, they see your journey because you're sharing it with them. And that is so important. Absolutely. Right. Okay. So I'm trying to think about, and we need you back on the show because there's all sorts of stories that I know that we just have not talked about. So what's coming up next for you? What's coming up? So I've got exciting irons in the fire. I know
so many things. I've got my new package that I'm working on for a 3-month package because as much as I don't do power hours. They don't get you. No, if you had an hour with me like this, I would overwhelm you. If because there'd be so much. So I tend to work with you on a 3-month basis. Although during lockdown, I've been doing 30-day stuff so that people who, like the lady said that she hadn't got her packages, although she was being very visible. For 30 days, I would work with you to work out what your packages are, how you place them, and so again, it's that destination. There would be a destination at the end of those 30 days that we would reach. Some ladies I'm working with that because they don't have a marketing strategy. So I would say, right, by the end of the month, you will know what your next 3 months looks like. So again, it's quite good for the recession thing. If you aren't a planner and you haven't sat down and think, okay, where do I want to be in December? And I work in Q1, Q2 because I'm a retailer, so I work in 3 months. That's how my brain's wired. So that's how I work. So at the moment, I've got the 30-day, but that finishes September. I'm not doing that again because I don't mean horrible when I say I give you too much. I'm aware that
I know exactly what you mean. And again, for the similar reason, like when I was talking about streamlining, when I first started to build my audience, I was selling a lot of power hours as a kind of a way to introduce myself to my audience. But what I found was that because there is so much to do with, particularly with storytelling, story finding, and talk creation, power hour isn't enough. And it was speaking that I wanted to focus on. So doing small business mentoring, whilst I did it, it wasn't where my zone of genius is. So I was really great at it, but it wasn't the thing that really filled my cup up. Getting people to speak and articulate their business and mission message, helping them to pitch and all that sort of stuff. That's where where the good stuff is. I got people like you in my circle that I could pull in for those people that say Amy, for example, would say to me, or Dani, would we do power hours now? And I'd be like, you don't need me now. That's not what you need. Somebody like Katie to really look at everything because she's the real expert in this field. We've got loads of people that are like, they're after you, Lisa, like she needs you. I love it. You do.
Be careful what you wish for.
Do you want to be listened to or do you want advice?
Because we haven't. My biggest passion is collaboration, and we haven't even touched that. So we've got to come back because the power of collaboration, which you just said about, the referrals and you bringing me in and me doing vice versa to you. The power of collaboration and doing it properly to make money is phenomenal.
Absolutely. And I've found
that's for another day.
We will come back and do a collaboration special, maybe even in the next couple of months, because I think that is definitely something that as people may wobble around this recession piece, you want to be teaming up, linking up, and tuning with people that are also experts within the wider business field. It's like having. It's like being part of a stable. It's like being part of a stable. I imagine it being like Queer Eye. If anyone's ever seen Queer Eye, it's important to have the people who are good at hair, the people who are good at makeup, the people who are good at interior style, the people that are good at external style, the people who are good at estheticians and all that sort of. It's the same in business. People who are good at copy, people who are good at speaking, people who are good at the business mechanics, people who are good at finance. All of this. It's important. Oh my God. Yes, tech. Software assistant, all of this, it is so important to have these people in your black book, in your book of people who, you know, you would refer on. And
Totally.
Katie is definitely within my black book, as I know I am in hers. Katie, we've run out of time.
Oh my God, is it all? What's that? Oh my God. Now that'll have blown some people's minds. That me and you together. Oh my God.
We've had some fire this morning. For those that do want to, you know, find out more about you, Katie, how do we hang out with you a little bit
All
more?
I'll do at the minute, because I've got a private Facebook group. There's no payment for it. It's just hidden, a bit like myself. I'll put that in here, and I will put my email address. And ladies, if you want to speak to me, you want to jump on some positivity, come my way.
Yeah, absolutely. So please do connect directly with Katie. If what we've said to you today has resonated, you feel like you need a bit of Katie Webster in your life, you definitely do. She reminds me so much of like Kate Hardcastle and all of those sorts of incredible, you know, business mentor people who can just see how businesses work. She's an absolute cracker and a firecracker as well. It's a pleasure to know you. It's a pleasure to have you as my friend. I love you. Katie Webster, everybody, what an incredible show this morning. I was so glad to have Katie on this morning, especially after yesterday's announcements, so that we could sort of, as our recession rebels, speak to you about these things, because it is important. Now is not the time to get scared. Now is not the time to be wobbling. Now is just the time to accept that this is what's going to be happening, and you guys have got it within your power to choose to fly anyway. If you go forward in fear, then of course people around you will see that you are fearful, and you will attract that energy to you, whether you believe in the woo or not. If you go forward in strength and you go forward linking arms, and we festoon it, we come together as a community. Please do join the community, the IATQB Hive. That's how you spell it, IATQB. Get yourselves into the hive, where you can do shout outs for the people that you need. I actively encourage collaborations. I actively encourage you sharing your talents in there. If anyone wants to do any specific training, you can go and do that on a Wednesday during Wise Wednesday during in the IATQB Hive. Stands for I am the Queen Bee. It is my gift to you guys to remember that you are the Queen Bee too. It is your birthright to success, to abundance, to health, to happiness, and all those things. Just because the media are behaving in a certain way doesn't mean you have to too. And that is my message for you as we go on into Thursday. Thank you for joining us. If you don't follow me already, make sure you do, on the Queen Bee Dani on Instagram, here on Facebook, and of course on YouTube. You guys are incredible. I love you. I will see you tomorrow for a showing up special. Ta-ra.